Travelers, Marcello here, founder of the day trading, not day trading, well, day trading too, but more wandering trader for this video. Wanted to do a video talking about things you need to know before coming to Costa Rica. We're here in Manuel Antonio's, the name of the area. One of the best beaches is just behind. It's called Manuel Antonio as well. We're at the resort called, I don't know how to say it. I think I've done 3 or 4 videos and I still haven't learned how to say it. But it's G-A-I-A. We'll put it in the video. Absolutely magical place. Love the pools. They haven't allowed me to jump off yet, but I'm gonna try to get a video of me jumping off that waterfall. Pretty cheap as well. It's only $200 or $300 if this bee doesn't come and sting me. So first thing you guys have to know, I'm gonna look at my notes here on my phone. The car rentals are pretty expensive. To get from one place to the other, you're basically gonna have to make a road trip. You know, it is, I don't know if Costa Rica is necessarily considered a third world country, but it obviously isn't the United States or Europe. So I don't know if you, some of you who are, you know, too high class may not feel comfortable traveling in a bus, a local bus, which may only take you about 15-20 bucks to go to the beaches, some of the beaches or in between the beaches. But it's the best thing to do would be to rent a car. The first time I visited when I was here in 2008, 2009, I rented a car. We took a really big road trip. It was great, even driving through the mountains and everything, especially one of the most popular tourist attractions, I would say, Arenal Volcano and all the waterfalls and things. This time I came over to the beaches to be able to explore them. Just one little tidbit, I would not recommend you guys visit Jaco Beach. It's not a very nice beach to experience. Instead, I'd recommend you go to a few other beaches, one including the one that we're here, which is Manuel Antonio. When you're renting a car, the biggest, I think, and most important thing to know, and I'm sorry if you can hear that motorcycle in the background, is the protection for third parties is not included normally, right? Like normal, but it is mandatory, required by law in Costa Rica. That means that if you don't get any other sort of insurance, they're gonna charge you literally almost double for your rental car when you come and ride, because you have to have it. They won't let you rent the car without it, so keep that in mind. When you're renting from, you know, I think it's Orbitz or Expedia, or whoever you're renting a car from, they normally offer you the insurance. It's cheaper to get it that way. I think it's only $10 or $11 a day, so I recommend you guys do that, because my rental car doubled in price because I didn't have that insurance, since I always decline it and I have the coverage on my credit card. Most of the rental car, or the coverage that you get on a rental car, really doesn't cover third parties. For most credit cards, that automatically get the coverage, so keep that in mind. So that's the first thing. Renting a car is it's going to be very expensive, and make sure you get the insurance, because if you're going to go around and explore for a bit, you're most likely going to do a road trip. All right. I rented for a company called Economy. All the big names are there, Hertz, Alamo, all those big guys. It's basically, the way it works is they'll walk you out to the parking lot, you'll hop in a van, and then the van will take you to where all the car rentals are at, and then from there, you know, you can either drop off the car and they'll give you a shuttle, which is the same shuttle that picks you up from, but there's it's less than 5 minutes away from the airport. And one last thing about the rental car, I want to make sure I drill that home, because they tried to charge me $2,200. They are going to authorize a certain amount for the protection of the vehicle. So they're probably going to authorize either $1,500, or they authorize for me $2,200. So I recommend you guys have a credit card, because if you don't have a credit card, if you don't know, then what will happen is they will authorize an amount on your debit card, and if it's debit, whether Visa or MasterCard, they would actually charge you the amount, and then they refund it later, which can take, you know, up to 7 or 10 days, depending on when they actually process it. So keep that in mind. It's better to do it with a credit card, because they are going to authorize the $1,500 or $2,200 for the trip for protection of the vehicle. Next thing, it's a very, very dollarized economy. I completely forgot to take money out. I figured everybody would accept credit cards, which is most times the case. But one of the things to keep in mind is that the toll booths anywhere in the world normally don't take credit cards. So we gave them literally US dollars, and they gave us the local currency, which is colones back. So in most places that you're gonna go in Costa Rica, I'd say the vast majority, you can pay in dollars, they'll give you the change back, although that's not something I recommend because they're gonna rape you on the exchange. It's actually better to either charge everything on your credit card if they're accepted. There's a lot of little towns around here. We're in a pretty remote place. Sebas, dale una vista. We're in a pretty remote place, and we have pretty good internet here already. Más rápido. We have pretty good internet here. It's not the fastest internet in the world, but it's pretty stable. That's another thing I wanted to mention to you guys. It seems like the internet in the country is pretty legit. I obviously day trade in the stock market for a living. That's how I afford to travel all the time. So I need at least reliable internet service to be able to trade, and we've been able to do it just fine here from the apartment on, even on Wi-Fi. So that's another thing as well to keep in mind. The best time to come here, it rains about 50% of the year. I'm doing this video early in the morning. I didn't sleep last night, but I figured it was better to do it in the morning because it gets nice and muggy. Nice, hot and muggy when it rains. Even now when it's completely dry, it's a beautiful day. Not that many clouds in the sky. It's extremely humid and extremely muggy. So keep that in mind if you're gonna come. The best time, which is the dry season, will be between mid-December to April, and then obviously the wet season, it's going to be from April on all the way to December again. And keep in mind it is a tropical climate, so bring your mosquito repellent, and be careful with the sunscreen. Make sure you just get one with one ingredient called zinc oxide, otherwise you might be putting a lot of chemicals in your skin that you really don't want to have. Keep that in mind. Okay, so next, the best beaches are always on the west coast. I mentioned that. I did another video for you guys so you can see the best beaches, or talk about the best beaches in Costa Rica. Manuel Antonio is actually one of the best beaches, and I asked a few buddies who live here in Costa Rica, and also a lot of the online websites and things always mention this place, so it's definitely the place to be. I definitely would recommend this hotel. They give you a free shuttle down to the beach. We might go ahead and catch it today to go ahead and check out the beach, but most of the best beaches are on the left. If you guys are in surf, Witches, there's a beach called Witches, I forgot the second name of it, but it's a really secluded place that most people don't know about. I think some of you guys might be coming for surf, so look that up. Look up Witches Beach, you'll be able to find it online. That's actually the best place for surf here in Costa Rica. After that, if you guys are going to come and retire here, or come and try to buy property here, keep in mind that the prices here over the last few years have definitely appreciated quite a bit. I don't think that you're gonna find you know, a $50,000 property or $100,000 property in relation to the rest of the world. I think you're probably gonna find a pretty cheap place overall. You can still find places in the city like San Jose, for example, a nice 2-3 bedroom for, I would say, $150,000, $120,000. If you're buying a place on the beach, you can drop the prices by about 10-20%. And if you're buying them in other towns, or even like a suburb of Costa Rica or other towns outside of the city, then you could probably appreciate that price at about 20%. Most of the property development, just looking at my notes here, is on the outskirts of San Jose. There's we're having an event here for some of our traders. There's a neighborhood, I don't know how to pronounce it. I think I'm gonna absolutely butcher it. It's called Exauzu, I think is the name. I might write it for you, but that neighborhood, it's one of the most kind of legit, you know, westernized, really nice neighborhoods, which is where I chose to do the event at. So definitely look for that area if you're gonna go to do things in San Jose. But most things that you're going to do in the country are driving distance away, so you either book a tour and they'll take you on a bus with a group of people, or you go in a group, you rent a nice big car, and then you go and see things on your own, because generally everything is going to take you 2, 3, 4 hours to drive through. So keep that in mind as well if you're going to be planning a trip, because you know, you might want to make sure that you wake up late one day and go in the afternoon, things like that, to make sure that you know, have your days last. Don't forget to go zip lining. It's absolutely great. I'll try to put the picture of when I zip lined actually upside down, which was awesome. So let me know if you guys have any questions. That's pretty much all you need to know about the things in Costa Rica. The vaccines, one last thing that just popped in my mind. You don't need a vaccine if you're coming from United States. The only time that you need a yellow fever vaccine to come into Costa Rica is when you're coming from a high-risk country. Like we had a Colombian on this trip that didn't ask him anything at all. But if you come from specific countries in Africa, you guys can look up the list, then they will require you to have that vaccine. But for Americans that are coming from the US or a country that isn't from, let's say, a yellow fever risk nation, they won't require that at all, so keep that in mind as well. I said keep that in mind a lot in this video. But anyway, so let me know if you guys have any questions. If you guys want to ask, put on any questions with hashtag Ask Marcello. I'll go ahead and look at them either on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube. And let me know if you guys have any questions. Have a good one.